This time I have real coffee. If you didn't catch that joke, it means you haven't watched our April episode. You should. Wait, don't go now. We'll drop a link in the description. For now, let's talk about May. If April was a reset month, May was about gaining momentum. A lot of things started happening. Some cultural, some technical, some human, some agentic. Let me now take you through what happened inside Frappe in the month of May. Let's begin.
At this point, there is no choice for me but to accept that this is the new reality of matter.
We are building bare metal because we are Frappe, and that's how we do things. We have built our own framework, we have built our own cloud management, we have built our own apps, and then we will build our own bare metal.
If you look at what we have shipped since V16, we just released a new banking app, which is within ERPNext now.
People who write very average or below average code, like they can be easily replaced. I think now the challenge is to find people who can write better code than the agents or who can think better than the agents. I definitely think the software services industry is toast.
The month started with something that has absolutely nothing to do with software. We had FPL, the Frappe Premier League. As you can guess, it is our internal sports tournament which has become a part of the Frappe culture over the years. Some years we play cricket and sometimes football. This was a cricket year. The event took place on a turf in Bandra. About 40 players were split into 4 teams based on their actual work teams: ERPNext, Framework, Business Team and Frappe Cloud. That meant it was no longer about just cricket, it was team against team. We had custom jerseys, people were really competitive. Let's now talk to Asif, who hit me for a lot of sixes.
FPL started in 2021. It's been 4 years now. We have been continuing FPL in a very traditional way. So we actually tried finding out multiple venues, but then we decided we need to make it at a grand scale. So we thought of going to Bandra, Stanislaus turf, which is a iconic turf where a lot of actors actually play. We decided that we will have 4 teams as there were 40 members, and the team was decided on the basis of the products which we have currently. One player, Huzan, who was hitting a lot of sixes, I believe. So I wanted to know what's his weak point. So while he was playing a match with the other team, I tried nudging him by throwing away comments like, hey, isse nahi ho payega, the typical Mumbai slang, which I tried doing it. And at a point, he got annoyed as well, which was working out. I think Frappe as an organization won the tournament, but yeah, it was Frappe Cloud team who actually deserved to win the tournament.
Guess what? Yours truly was on the winning team. Enough of fun, let's talk about business. If you followed Frappe Build this year, you would have observed that one theme spanned across discussions and talks: AI. Especially, is agentic coding really a thing or is it just a hype? A lot of Frappe engineers have been playing around with agentic for some time now, but very few were really thumping the table. Actually, just a couple of them. A lot of engineers were actually very skeptical. Top of the list was Rushabh himself. But later, something changed. Rushabh, you have been a big critic of AI before this. So what has changed in the last month?
A lot of things have changed. I mean, first is that I was living in denial, but there is a limit to which you can live in denial. Like if the tsunami is very close to you, like you can't live in denial. So few things happened. One is Asif from our team, he started building this spreadsheet application, and it started to look really good of late. And like Asif not being a programmer, it was very interesting that he could actually build an entire application without writing code. That was my first shocker. Then I also saw a lot of people posting on LinkedIn applications that are built on Frappe framework, which looked very, very interesting. Some of them look very much like Frappe Cloud. And a lot of these things somehow triggered this thing in me that, I can't deny this whole new way of development. Then finally I gave it a try, I think 2 weeks ago. And I was totally mind blown with the capabilities of what the models can do. I still refuse to use the word AI because it just feels like a marketing speech, but the model-driven development is definitely a thing. It has like incredible power to write code and to create things. And the way these models have been designed is also very smart, that it now with time it knows exactly the kind of mistakes models make. And even the whole agentic process where it keeps talking to itself is also very smart the way they have designed it. So at this point, there is no choice for me but to accept that this is the new reality of matter and try to adapt the organization in a way that helps us kind of survive and also thrive in this post-agentic world.
So when you built using agentic coding, how did it feel? You've been a developer even before.
I mean, the first thing, like I said, it feels like, you are Yuvraj Singh, hitting every ball you're hitting going for a 6, or you are Vaibhav Suryavanshi these days, right? Like every ball you just hit goes for a 6. So the agent can do so much more on a prompt, and the agent never tires. That's the other thing. Like even if the agentic development is actually trained on the best engineers, so the code that the models generate is probably very good already. But the real differentiator is that like a person who is writing code has a certain stamina, and once that stamina is used, the person tires and moves on, or it tries to create sloppy solutions after that. But the agent doesn't tire, and that is mind-blowing, the fact that it can keep on relentlessly going at a problem till it finds the right solution.
There have been so many debates that AI can even give you slop, right? And like it ultimately depends on what you prompt. So how are we controlling that quality aspect?
I don't think we have figured it yet. I don't think anybody has figured this now. Right now, people just have a new tool. I don't think they have. So there is power in this precision. I think the power is undeniable. The precision is something that that I don't think people have figured out. Right now, people are just enthralled with the power of the models. But I think that the output of the models has to be irregardless of whether it was like the output has to be so good that it doesn't matter whether it was created by a model or by hand coding. The process through which you create the code, but it should matter that the quality is as good.
So Frappe stands very strongly for authenticity. Now that say half the code or even more is actually done by a machine, like what happens to that?
So definitely there is a loss. I mean, I don't deny that, when you hand code everything, there is maybe you take 100 decisions to build a certain feature. Maybe now you only take 5 of those, and the other 95 are taken by the model. So definitely there is a loss in authenticity. I don't deny it. But I feel that the velocity it gives, the kind of prototyping you can do with the model at this point for coding and for product development, the costs the benefits clearly outweigh the cost at this point. So I've discovered 3 laws of agentic coding so far. The first law is the app is as good as the primitive. So if your primitives are good, the app is good. Like Asif was able to build a very polished Frappe Sheets because it used Frappe UI components. And a lot of the canvas code underneath was already pre-existing in other similar products. So because the primitives were good, the model was able to stitch them together very nice. The second law of agentic coding is take it to production. So because it can do things so fast, we just tend to be in this experimentative zone, and somehow that creates more, we just leave certain hard decisions to a later point. So it ends up creating more slop. So always have the intent to take whatever project you are doing and take it to production. So the third law of agentic coding is the greenfield is better than a brownfield. So if you start on a fresh project, it does much better than starting doing on an existing project. And if you want to work on an existing project, like the first effort has to be to simplify and refactor the code base so that you can let agents work faster. I mean, this is also true for human programmers or any programming in general, like simpler, cleaner, refactored code bases are better than non-refactored code bases.
So there are also some concerns that sometimes AI hallucinates and so on. So how are we approaching that problem?
First of all, I don't like the word AI and hallucination. Like it is a model, and the hallucinations are actually statistical errors. That maybe it has done the wrong search or it has done the wrong translation of a model it's trying to build. So because the model itself is essentially a stochastic collection of all the written text before, like, and when you instruct a model to do something, it finds it zones in on a cluster of solutions, and then it finds the best solution for you. I mean, it may make a statistical error and go to a different solution. So yes, the model is not perfect. The model will make errors like any person, and then you have to make sure, like, just because you did not write it, like, does not mean you get a pass that the product is not good enough.
There are also new engineers coming into the system who are starting with agentic. So do you see the learning change? Do you see how good engineers they become? Do you see that changing with?
So my hunch is that this is a completely different thing. This is not coding at all. This is product development. So my intuition is that new engineers should probably directly start with Agentic if they want to be product developers. I mean, I think the question that young engineers need to ask themselves is, do they want to be code artisans or do they want to be product builders? Because if they want to be product builders, then they could just start with Agentic way of working like Asif did. But if they want to be really code artisans, like they want to control each and every aspect of the code, then they should hand code. I think these are two different paths that have opened up.
Do you see velocity, productivity, even some to an extent innovation or anything else changing with this?
This is a completely new way of working, and the organization structures don't hold true anymore. And if somebody is looking at agentic or model-driven coding as a way to improve their productivity, I don't think they're doing it right.
Has the expectation from individual engineers in terms of velocity or how much or how well they should build changed?
I think definitely. I mean, there is no doubt about it. And it is not 1.3x, it's not 2x, 3x, 4x, it's probably 100x. And I think it's very hard for an engineer to even, the amount of pressure that you can put on yourself when you think, oh, how do I create even 100x the output? But that is the opportunity because it's a completely new thing. Like the old rules are mostly off, but this is a completely new thing. So I think the good engineers will try to do things that they could have never done, like forget slightly improvement. So I'm seeing there is a lot of people who will see it as a productivity improvement tool, though that is also fine, but there are a lot of people who are going to completely rethink what you can do having this kind of a tool, and I think those will be the winners. And that is why you have something called as founder mode, and I realize that in most companies, and this is already well known, is that the founders themselves have to drive this change.
There is this hype or there is this thing going around the internet, right? Like software industry is dead. Like, how do you see things panning out? Do you think it will happen or?
So, I mean, if the agent can write better code than people, companies that are built on software services are definitely under threat. Like people who write very average or below average code, like they can be easily replaced. I think now the challenge is to find people who can write better code than the agents or who can think better than the agents. So I'm sure there are some people who can think better than the agents, and those are the people who are going to now control the agents more. I don't think they are necessarily experienced software developers. They are just people who have more imagination to use the agents in a way that creates better output.
On AI.
But I definitely think the software services industry is toast.
On AI, like what is your state of mind? Like, are you optimistic or also worried about a few things?
Right now, I'm just discovering. I'm just in this phase of exploration. I think it will be for Frappe. I think it will be a net plus because, especially proprietary software companies are also toast because I mean people can create alternatives to these very fast. But we as Frappe, we already know how to live in a low software margin environment. We don't charge any licenses for our software. So I think we will survive, and we should actually use the new model-driven development or agentic development to speed up the quality, features, performance of our products at this point.
As somebody who has transitioned from the critical side to the exploring side of things, what would you tell an engineer in a community who is still feeling agentic is a taboo?
So I would say three things. One is the hype is really bad. Like don't ignore the hype. Second is this is a whole new thing. Like this is not programming now. So if you compare this to programming, then you will probably be disappointed. But if you accept that this is a whole new thing, then you might be ready to at least try it. And it's a tool, end of the day. It's a different tool, so it's worth experimenting as a tool as well.
As a result of these debates and the grind, the conversation inside Frappe has shifted big time. From AI is good versus AI is bad to how can we make use of AI for the next phase of company's growth. Frappe feels like in startup mode all over again. While agentic coding is a significant experiment, it is not the only one that we have undertaken in the recent past. Another one is Frappe Compute, our own bare metal infrastructure inside Frappe Cloud. Let's now talk to Ayush, who is leading the project.
Frappe Compute is our own cloud infrastructure that we are building here at Frappe. You might have heard about AWS OCI. So we are building something similar. We are renting hardware. We are managing the orchestration layer on our own. We are building it on our own Frappe stack. Basically, we are just managing it ourselves. We are building bare metal because we are Frappe, and that's how we do things. We have built our own framework, we have built our own cloud management, we have built our own apps, and then we will build our own bare metal. So that was the motivation behind it. Current status of this project is if you go to Frappe Cloud to create a site or a server, you will see an option for Frappe. Like you can select Frappe as a cloud provider. You can create servers, you can create sites, and it will be hosted on our own hardware. Some of the challenges in building bare metal was that we had to figure everything out from on our own. It was an iterative process. I had a lot of the stuff had to be figured out. We built everything in Frappe framework, but we do have feature parity with Hetzner, you could say. Like we have gotten it working. I think a decade to be AWS, but like that's a joke. But then still, I want everyone to ditch everything out there and then just like come to Frappe. We will be as reliable, like we'll like do anything to get there.
Bare metal provides better performance and control at a much lower cost. That's what makes it one of the key pillars of Frappe's cost leadership strategy. Another pillar of Frappe's strategy is community. On that note, let's take a community question now. What is happening on ERPNext since V16 was released?
We're focusing on three things. First, we are doing a complete UI polish of Frappe framework and ERPNext. We're looking at each and every form, each and every setup screen, adding more inline documentation, fixing colors and shadows to make it in line with Espresso. Second, we're improving the onboarding experience. So we've realized that a lot of people who first start with ERPNext, they don't know where to go because setups themselves are very complex, and that's to be expected of an ERP product. But we want to make it easier. We want to make it self-implementable to the best that we can. And third, we are doing a lot of refactoring. So a lot of the code has been refactored already. Not only does that improve security, but it also improves the ability for us to fix bugs. So whenever a bug is reported, if you're searching through 5,000 lines of code, that's not going to be fast. So what we are doing is we're splitting the code into tiny reusable blocks, and that's been going well so far. Polishing Crew, what it does is that they go through each and every form and they fix labels, they fix colors, they fix paddings. Things that you may not notice when you're using the product, but improves the overall product experience. But it was just a cool name. Polishing Crew just means, a crew that just polishes. Since V16, we just released a new banking app, which is within ERPNext now. So the entire bank reconciliation process has been completely revamped. We're looking at a few tools like payment reconciliation, or how easily are you able to, put in inventory, the workflow processes, etc. We are also experimenting a little with AI, but I can't say much about it because I myself don't know where that's headed. But you might see some cool new features this Frappeverse.
So that was May at Frappe. Started with a lot of fun, picked up momentum in product development, ended on a high of excitement in AI. Thank you for watching the May edition of Inside Frappe. See you next month. Over and out.